Joining us now in studio is NEMA's Director General Geoffrey Wahungu. Welcome to the program. You kept saying while confronted by Patrick and team that this is a lesson learned. What lesson has been learned and what has changed in terms of your policing, if you like, of the entry of plastics illegally into Kenya?
Thank you. I think some of the lessons learned include that we still have smugglers successfully sneaking plastics into our markets from across borders. Lessons learned that we still need to up our game with regard to surveillance across borders, and that there are also illegal routes that are being used to smuggle in plastics into our country.
All right. Would you say as NEMA that you simply just can't enforce this ban locally and across the borders?
No, that's not true. From the beginning, we had no illusions. We knew and we planned that it would take us 2 years to implement the ban. For any contraband, this is the behavior that happens. First, it goes underground, comes up, starts appearing in form of, like contraband, a few people using them. And by and large, we are very successful with the carrier bags. It is the small flimsy bags that we are dealing with now.
Ugandan authorities say that most of these bags that are found in Kenya are actually Kenyan in origin. What do you say to that?
I listened to my friend Tom talk about it. I thought that was a little cheeky coming from him because we talk a lot about it and he understands. In September, I would like to, because we are meeting as INES, we have a East African Network for Environment Compliance where Director Generals and Directors of Compliance and Enforcement meet annually to discuss issues because we are one trading bloc and therefore our success in the plastic ban cannot be achieved without their cooperation. But I think we all know that I have witnessed and I saw the team from Citizens sneaking in plastics from Uganda to Kenya. I know that the other way around is not happening for now unless I can see evidence of that. It's them who are.
And yet there are still reports that there are unscrupulous businessmen within Kenya who are still producing plastics with full knowledge of government agencies who are pretty much just letting them do so because they feel the way in which the ban was effected did not give business persons requisite amount of time to make good, perhaps recovery on their equipment, etc. How do you respond to that?
I'm not aware. We would like to ask citizens to give us information. Our officers are having a difficult time spending hours. Some of the manufacturers we have arrested, we are arresting them like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. It would be very easy if this information can be brought to our attention so that we can take action. Besides, I want to tell if there are any manufacturers that this is unsustainable and their time will come.
Let's move to the broader work that NEMA does. And in instances such as the flooding that we saw just a few months ago and the dam tragedies that followed this year, there appeared to be a breakdown between yourselves and other environmental management authorities. For instance, WEMA, if you're talking about the Solai Dam tragedy, some say that this is basically turf wars between two environmental agencies that just can't get along.
It is not staff wars. Our mandates are clearly defined. All these agencies are our lead agencies, and our work, our mandate is clearly defined as supervision and coordination. Our success will be as good as these agencies who we supervise and coordinate succeed and do their work. They are not tough wars. We are not fighting for anything. We do not implement. We oversight. We use our law to oversight and coordinate them. And they are the implementers.
In a situation like the Solai tragedy, what would you then say about your own performance in supervising bodies like WEMA to do their job?
We are appearing under Senate and Parliament Committee on this issue, and it is also a matter which is under investigation. I would like not to comment about it tonight.
Part of your mandate is to establish and review land use guidelines and examine land use patterns to determine, quote, their impact on the quality and quantity of natural resources. So in the ongoing Mau debate, where a section of politicians have alleged that the settlers have valid titles to land, that they are not encroaching on the forest, that they are not threatening the forest in any way, that they are behind boundary lines, what is NEMA's own assessment of that?
We are quite interested in the foregoing debate. There are lead agencies like Kenya Forest Service, whose mandate is specifically forest conservation and management of encroachment. There is a National Land Commission, which is in charge of lands. Our work has been, since the review, before the review of MCA, production of guidelines. The mandate of NEMA now, basically, our interaction with that is when a proposed development is brought forward to us. Then we start investigating the owner. Who does the title belong to? If you are trying to do a large-scale development that has a potential impact on the environment, and then that issue comes to us. But
with the smaller settlers, who are a large group, you're saying that hasn't caught your eye at all? It has, and if something like that happens, we have under the law what is called a resettlement action plan, which is proposed provided an impact assessment is done. Because obviously such development like encroachment is illegal and sometimes is done informally, and that is not brought to us as a law. So the agents which are directly involved in the implementation would be the ones to deal with that, and then of course, if it's brought to our attention, then we'll work with them. But we cannot go beyond our mandate of supervision and coordination to start and implement, for example, control of encroachment into forest areas, etc. So what do you think of the ongoing debate on Mau that has become political? It is interesting. We are seeing a lot of debate happening. I do not want to comment on which area, where it is gone. It is not the first time we are watching it, but as NEMA, and we'll work with other agencies to see where we want to go on this. Are you helpless when politicians get into the conservation debate in one way or another? Not really. The law is very clear. If it is a mandate that involves us, irrespective of the political noise, the law takes its course. NEMA Director General Geoffrey Wakhungu, thank you so much for coming to Monday Special.